If by Rudyard Kipling. Let's check what are the different poetic devices those have been used by Kipling in the poem. The first one is metaphor. It is a figure of speech making an implicit, implied, or hidden comparison between two things or objects that are poles apart from each other but have some common characteristics between them. Metaphor's idea must be clear enough. If still it is not clear, so it's better if you watch the video about the figures of speech. In the poem, if the example of metaphor is in the first stanza, you can meet with triumph and disasters and treat those two imposters just the same. Imposters refer to the triumph and disaster, and imposter is actually a person who pretends to be someone else in order to deceive others. However, triumph and disaster are portrayed as imposters because when dealing with them in life, their coming is apparent, but very deceiving that they may come and go in one's life. Then and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. Worn out tools refer to the feeling of total exhaustion that can force someone to give up. That personification humanly attributes those have been depicted in non-human or non-living being. It is a figure of speech in which a thing, an idea, or an animal is given human attributes. The non-human objects are portrayed in such a way that we feel they have the ability to act like human beings. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, so dreams were like masters, right? Who can control our lives? Is it possible? Can dream behave like master? But here, this thing has been personified. In this case, dreams are assumed to have had a human role or quality, that is being a master. Next example, if you can meet with triumph and disaster. Now, success is personified as triumph and can make us uncomplacent. Failure is personified as disaster. It can influence us to believe that failure is permanent. Moreover, a verb meet is always something to do with humans' activity, right? But in this poem, the writers use the verb to beautify the meaning. Then next example, accept the will, which says to them, hold on. Will, is it possible for will to say hold on? So will is personified as a person who encourages us not to give up. Then symbolism or denotations. It is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings that are different from their literal sense. In this poem, some example of symbolism can be noticed below. Knaves represent scoundrels, liars, or conmen. Crowds symbolize the common folk or people. Kings represent the important people in society. Common touch represent humility. So these are the words, those are the symbol, and symbolism mean the word which is used to represent something else rather than their literal meaning. Then imagery. Imagery again belongs to imagination. It means to use a figurative language to represent objects, actions, and ideas in such a way that it appeals to our physical sense. In the poem, if the imagery appears in line, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, the reader feels as if he or she were being tired of waiting, and that is perhaps what the writers of it wanted the readers to feel about. The next imagery can be seen as in this and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. Those express the physical feelings which makes the readers feel like stooping and building something. The readers play a role just like a building constructor, needing for much energy to build something. So these are the examples of images. Alliteration mean the repetition of initial same initial consonant sounds. Alliteration can still be spotted in the word 60 seconds, 60, 60 second. The word on, off, and toss in the second line show that they are included in alliteration with initial sound o, on, off. Moreover, the initial sound of treat, to, the, not the, but treat and to in a single line is called alliteration with consonant sound t. So when we talk about the repetition or anaphora, if the example of repetition and anaphora is will, the reason repeatedly these is the word which is used in the beginning of lines, and any word, any phrase which is used in the beginning of line repeatedly, that will come under the heading of anaphora and repetition. So the word if repeated in every other line is included in anaphora as well. The repetition of a word or phrase with one or two intervening words. Not only is the word if repeated, but also you can is also. Assonance, the repetition of identical vowel sound. When we talk about the vowel sound, and these have been repeatedly repeated, and these are identical sounds preceded and followed by different consonant sound, like in verse allowance and doubting, because of the sound or in the middle of verse. Look too good are also assonantal with a vowel sound oo. Look too good, oo, preceding different consonant sounds. So what is an assonance? This is the repetition of identical vowel sound preceded and followed by different consonant sounds. Rhyming scheme, let's check what is the rhyming scheme of this poem. The first, in the first 4 line, when we talk about the rhyming scheme, you, too. So basically we focus on what? We focus on the last sound, which is oo. So in first 4 line, our rhyming scheme A. Then waiting is B because it is different from A. Lies is again different from previous two, A and B. So that's why C. Hating and waiting are equal to one another. So that's why hating is also B. And wise and lies both, and with lies Z and wise Z sound. So that's why both have the same sound. That's why these are C. So in this stanza we have A, B, C. So hopefully you can easily understand that how can we find out rhyming schemes, and if any other stanza will come, you can easily find out the rhyming scheme of that specific stanza. Thank you for watching the video.